human wants are unlimited, and this is something that prevails everywhere. The moment one want is satisfied, the other want takes its place. We may be hungry at one time, and once we get food, we may get thirsty. We want water. When we get water, we get something else. So we always wants to have more and more of everything. And we also wants to have something new, which was not being possessed by us. Economics problem is basically a problem of choice. And as you know, that problem of choice occurs because the resources are limited in comparison to the wants. Resources are also called as means. Wants are also called as ends. So we have limited means which have to be utilized to satisfy unlimited ends. So we have to fix the priorities of the wants. And this is not possible without knowing the precise meaning of the term normative statements and normative economics. And as I said that all resources, whether human resources or non-human resources, they are limited. And this gap between the resources and wants is responsible for the emergence of a problem. That problem is called as economic problem. These resources in economics can be divided into land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Why do we need to choose? Or when do we need to choose? We need to choose whenever there is something not in abundance. Whenever something is available in limited quantity, we have to make a choice. Otherwise, we can select everything. So, since resources are less in comparison to the wants, this concept of scarcity is responsible for emergence of the term choice. So we can say scarcity is the root or mother of all economic problem. And it is very important to understand this concept in order to study the problem of allocation of resources. You can easily say that there is no shortage of air. There is no shortage of water. You may feel so. But even air, the classic example of almost unlimited resource, can also become scarce. And every day we are fed up with the problem of pollution of various types. So clean air is almost becoming a rare commodity in crowded urban areas. And we can have this clean air at substantial cost by avoiding the air pollution. When this period of pandemic started, because of lockdown and strict conditions, the air pollution was reduced to a great extent, and we had clean air in even urban areas. But it is not so in normal situation. Similarly, water may be free at several places, but it is scarce and costly in densely populated areas. Even goods like sand or dirt may be free at their original location, but even we have to pay prices for land and sand, not only for procuring it, but also for transporting it from one place to another place. And we should also remember that not only that resources are limited, these resources are having alternative uses. If simply the resources are limited, we have no economic problem. Because the question of allocation of resources, the question is to decide which particular want or option is better in comparison to the other. There is no purpose served by the term that the resources are limited. So we must remember that resources are not only limited, these are having alternative uses. That is why we have to make choice between the wants, which are unlimited, and the resources, which are limited. So this requires the understanding of the alternative uses to which the resources can be put. Not only these central problems about which you have already studied, that is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. We do have other problems as well, as like problem of growth. And this growth is required to be achieved along with stability. And we must remember that there is no end to which growth can increase. The less developed countries and the developing countries initiate the process of economic development. And once they are able to overcome this problem, then the thing which becomes important is called as economic growth. So underdeveloped and developing countries are only concerned with development that requires improvements in qualities of life, improvement in literacy rate, bringing down the infant mortality rate. But advanced or developed countries are only concerned with growth because they have already developed themselves. So these developing as well as less developed countries are concerned both with development as well as growth, and there is no end to which growth can be increased. Then we must also remember that we must make a choice not only between the resources, that is called as the cross-sectional analysis. We have also to make a choice between the present and the future. And sometimes there may be overlapping between these two concepts of cross-sectional and time series analysis. For example, when we make a choice between the consumer and capital goods, we are also making a choice between the present and the future. The reason is consumer goods are used to produce capital goods or producer goods or machines. In case we produce more consumer goods today, that is at present we are producing more consumer goods, that means we are producing less capital goods today. And when we are producing less capital goods today, that means we shall be able to produce less consumer goods in the future. So when we tend to produce more consumers today, that means we shall be in a position to produce less consumer goods in the future because of less resources allocated for the production of capital goods. So we must make a fine balance between the wants of the present generations and the wants of the future generation. And this is something which is also taken care of by environmental science or environmental studies, which was originally propounded by economics. And in economics, it is now called as the concept of green economics. In economics, you all remember that our basic purpose is optimal utilization of resources. And this is something which is also taken care of by environmental science and environmental studies. And that has become a compulsory paper for almost every student. So we must devote our resources partly to produce consumer goods and partly to produce capital goods. Now at the end, we discuss three basic or central problems or fundamental problems. The first problem is what to produce. This is the problem of allocation of resources. When an economy decides to produce more of one commodity, or even when a particular individual or particular firm or industry decides to produce more of a particular commodity, it has to divert the resources from the production of other goods to the production of goods which is required to be produced in greater quantity. So thus an economy has to decide what goods should be produced and in what quantities. And this is decided on the basis of the importance of various goods to the economy as a whole. Thus it becomes a problem of allocation of resources among different goods. The second problem is the problem of how to produce. This is the problem of choice of technique. There are two important techniques of production: labor intensive and capital intensive techniques. In labor intensive techniques, more labor and less capital is used, while in capital intensive techniques, more capital or machines and less labor is used. Like the selection of allocation of resources, the selection of techniques of production also depends upon the objective of the economy. Whether the objective of the economy is to raise the standard of living of the people, or to increase the level of income of the people, or to provide jobs to everybody. When the objective of economy is to give jobs to more and more people, it will be using labor intensive technique rather than capital intensive technique. Even then, capital intensive technique may be cheaper. This is the reason why in socialist economy, labor intensive techniques may be used to avoid the problem of unemployment and underemployment. The third problem is for whom to produce. This problem is the problem of distribution. That is how the national product of the country should be distributed amongst the various sections of the economy. Country has to decide, should it permit luxury houses for few people while majority of the people live in the slums? Should the poor man's child suffer malnutrition? These are some of the questions which have to be answered by the economy. In case the objective of economy is profit motive, that is, there is capitalism in the economy will not be much bothered about the disparities in the distribution of income and wealth. But when the objective of economy is welfare, like what happens under socialist economy, most of the income will belongs to the poorer section of the society. That is, the distribution of income and wealth will be more or less even. Even when it is a problem of allocation of resources, resource allocation also depends upon the type of economic system prevailing in the country. With capitalism, we have initiative, profit motive, and inequalities in the distribution of income and wealth. And in such system, these central problems are solved by price mechanism. And price mechanism means the price of every commodity is decided by free market forces of demand and supply. There will be as many prices in the economy as the number of goods and services are. But if the economy follows the socialistic mode of production, it will make an attempt to reduce the disparities in the distribution of income and wealth, and its target will be public welfare. When we study economics, then other things remaining the same, we assume that we have free market economy or capitalist economy, where every price for a product or a factor of production or service is decided by the free market forces of demand and supply. And in such market, the role of the government is limited. That is to maintain the law and order. Two other basic assumptions of such economy are rationality of economic units, where every economic unit wants to pursue the goals of optimization, which may be maximization or minimization, depending upon the objective. If it is production, revenue, or profit or satisfaction, it will be maximization goal. If it is cost, then it is going to be minimization objective. Other things remaining the same is another assumption of economy. So these three assumptions are taken care of whenever we use economics.